In case you missed it, today was a horrible day for Karen Read.
That Brian Albert, his wife Nicole, his son Brian Jr., and Caitlin are not targets of the federal investigation. And I've been given permission to disclose that in open court.
Fuck.
Brian Higgins is not a target of the federal investigation. That has been confirmed by the United States Attorney's Office and confirmed to me that I could make that representation in court.
Michael Proctor does not object to the defendant's motion for an order pursuant to Rule 17, seeking records from the Mass State Police Internal Affairs Division. So he doesn't object to that, so that motion's allowed.
Who was the target of this investigation? That's what I want to know.
And I've never seen a case where there have been so many butt dials.
So the final evidentiary hearing, Yannetti just wanted to talk about cops' butts.
Brian Albert tried to maintain that he butt dialed Higgins. But again, that would mean that his butt also answered the phone when Higgins called back, and it doesn't make any sense.
I don't have time for this.
His butt was in the bed, the phone was in the table. The two could not have met, Your Honor. There was no possibility of a butt dial. Now he's claiming that it was during that intimate situation with his wife that he supposedly butt dialed Brian Higgins. Worth noting that Higgins testified he never heard any intimate noises on the other end of the line either.
All right, well, Yannetti just proved that he's kind of into butt stuff. The federal investigation that had those phone records and asked questions about those phone records, and they have the minutes, they have the questions and answers regarding these phone records. The federal investigation that resulted in 0 indictments. And that's the final evidence that they're asking for. Last hearing, they put on a show regarding the federal investigation and, pointed out a lot of bits and pieces, tidbits here and there. But that wasn't an evidentiary hearing. It wasn't to allow certain evidence to come into this case. That was about dismissing the indictment. It was about disqualifying the DA, which neither of those things are going to happen. So back to evidence. So if we can pull our head out of the conspiracy for a minute and look at evidence. There's no evidence of a cover-up or a conspiracy. Oops. There's literally a mountain of evidence proving that Karen Read killed John O'Keefe. Not only that she killed him, but that she knew that she killed him and she tried to cover it up. And that's murder too in a nutshell. And so the importance that they're placing on these phone logs, but the people in the public, the ones of us that have a brain, already know that, this whole grand jury took place. Nothing came out of these phone records already, and the feds were literally investigating this investigation. It's just a fishing expedition so they can spread reasonable doubt. None of the evidence is being challenged. The feds corroborated all of the evidence. So what do we have? We have Brian Albert porking his wife butt dialing Brian Higgins in the middle of the night. What? And Higgins called him back, and then Albert just hung up on him. Just picked up and hung up, either because he was busy or he was sleeping and just wanted the noise to stop. I think we've all done it, but that's it. And from what we know, Brian Higgins was fully cooperative with this investigation. He interviewed with the U.S. attorney prior to testifying, and, he had counsel with him, and counsel probably told him to stop talking to the other people in the house, stop talking to Brian Albert. So Brian Albert was like, what's going on? And was trying to reach out to him. That means it was a cover-up, right? And the way that they describe Brian Higgins, he was like a super conscientious. He served in Iraq, and he's very serious about his reputation, his status, whatever. So it was like strictly following what the guidelines were. Do not speak to other people. And this cop talked to this person, and he talked to Chief Berkowitz. Like, who gives a shit? These are people. Like, anyone that finds a dead body on their front lawn, there's going to be a lot of conversations. And if your circle of friends is cops, you're going to have conversations with cops. They're trying to make it out to be this big thing because Karen Read is guilty AF. Rumor has it that she was out prior to calling anybody with her GPS off and, scouted out the body, which does make sense. And she knows she smashed out her car. She stopped in a park and checked out the damage. She moved the cars around, hid the car in the garage, and, he's not answering. She definitely went out and looked for him. And the Reeds are like the Laundries. They all came together in a freaking bomb cyclone to come and get her car, to get the murder weapon, and take it out of the scene, to take it to Dighton and hide it. There are some suspicious things here, like the Ring camera footage disappearing. I don't know when they seized that, if it was the same day, But it doesn't seem like she would have enough time to do it if she had to do it at his house. But if she had like the app or whatever to get into it from her phone, then possibly. But it should have been retrieved unless someone really knows what they're doing to delete it. And who would know something like that? Cops. Always had thought that someone started helping her in the beginning to, you know, kind of cover it up, which is definitely possible because she's known for bumping uglies with cops. So who knows who else she was talking to? The reason that they want the phone calls is because her phone that night is gonna nail her coffin shut. And, you know, if they can show other people are making phone calls at 2:22 a.m., that's gonna distract a little bit from whatever the hell she was doing. Because, I mean, did she call people? Did she get a lawyer? Did she call her brother, the Lexus salesman, to find her a replacement taillight? I don't know.
His father said he's confident she will be exonerated.
Absolutely. Everyone should be.
God is with you.
He certainly is.